The golden age of Hollywood saw some amazing acting talent bring to life bigger-than-life stories on the silver screen. Many of these actors and actresses built the industry that we know today and set the standard for how movies should be done. So let's check in on some of these old Hollywood stars that are still with us today. Eva Marie Saint's career began in television when she worked as an NBC page, and she appeared on camera for the first time in 1946 in Campus Hoopla. She is one of those actresses who has spent her entire life in the movies. She went on to act in many classics, including in 1955 with Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. She also was in Alfred Hitchcock's thriller North by Northwest, and won an Emmy for the miniseries People Like Us. Her most recent acting credits were in 2014 in the movie Winter's Tale and as a voice actor in the animated series The Legend of Korra. She officially retired from acting in 2021 and is now 99 years old. Michael Caine is an internationally successful British actor, known for his versatility in many leading and character roles. He appeared in more than 100 films, and his likable persona was usually present in each one of his performances. He has been in such films as The Last Valley, A Bridge Too Far, Hannah and Her Sisters, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and The Cider House Rules. He is also known for comedy, with roles in Miss Congeniality, Austin Powers in Goldmember, and Secondhand Lions. He announced his retirement from acting in October of 2023, with his final film being The Great Escaper, which came out that very same month. Michael Caine is now 91 years old and lives in London with his wife. Bonnie Bartlett's career spans 7 decades, with her first major role being on a 1950s daytime drama called Love of Life. Bartlett is also known for her role as Grace Snyder Edwards on the TV series Little House on the Prairie during the 1970s, and later as Ellen Craig on the medical series St. Elsewhere during the late 1980s. She also had a recurring role on the 1990s show Boy Meets World. She has played the wife of her real-life husband, William Daniels, in 3 different series: St. Elsewhere, Boy Meets World, and Touched by an Angel. Bartlett is now 94 years old and has been married to William Daniels since June 30th, 1951, which is the longest Hollywood marriage still going. George Hamilton began his film career in 1958, and although he has a substantial body of work in film and television, he is perhaps most famous for his debonair style, perpetual suntan, and commercials for Ritz crackers. He has been in such films as Where the Boys Are, The Victors, Evel Knievel, Love at First Bite, and The Godfather 3. He has also guest starred on many TV shows. From 1972 to 1976, he was married to actress Alana Stewart. The divorced couple reunited in the mid-1990s to co-host a daytime talk show called George and Alana, and then again in 2015 as stars of the reality show Stewarts and Hamiltons. George Hamilton is now 84 years old and still stays very active. Janice Page is an actress and singer with a career spanning nearly 60 years. She became a singer at the Hollywood Canteen during World War II, as well as posing as a pinup model. In the mid-1950s, she also made several television appearances, as well as starring in her own sitcom, It's Always Jan. She had roles in the movies The Pajama Game, Silk Stocking, and Please Don't Eat the Daisies. In the 1990s, she had recurring roles on the daytime soaps General Hospital and Santa Barbara. Married 3 times, she was the widow of Disney composer Ray Gilbert, who wrote the classic children's song Zippity Doo Dah. She retired from acting in 2001 and is now 101 years old. Warren Beatty is a very successful actor and director whose career started in 1961 with the movie Splendor in the Grass. His other roles include movies like Bonnie and Clyde, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, and Shampoo. He also directed and starred in Heaven Can Wait, Reds, Dick Tracy, Bugsy, and Bulworth, all of which he also produced. Prior to being married, he was notorious for his large number of romantic relationships that received generous media coverage, having been linked to over 100 female celebrities. He married actress Annette Bening in 1992, and his sister is actress Shirley MacLaine. He is now 87 years old and lives in Los Angeles. Angie Dickinson started her career in the early 1950s when she entered the local Miss America contest one day before the deadline, and she took home second place. That same year, she was one of 5 winners in a beauty pageant sponsored by NBC, and then she appeared on several variety shows because of it. She got her first bit part in a Warner Brothers movie in 1954, and finally gained some fame in the TV series The Millionaire, which helped her land the role opposite John Wayne and Dean Martin in Rio Bravo. From there, she was in Ocean's 11, The Killers, The Chase, and The Outside Man. She also starred as Sergeant Pepper Anderson in the crime series Policewoman during the 1970s, and later would star in several television movies and miniseries over the next couple decades. Angie Dickinson is now 92 years old and retired from acting in 2009. James Darren made his name in the 1950s in a series of teenage-themed films. He had notable roles in films like Gidget and its sequels, All the Young Men, The Guns of Navarone, and Diamond Head. He also gained fame in the early and mid-1960s as a singer, with several hits to his credit, including Goodbye Cruel World and Her Royal Majesty. In the 1980s, he appeared as Officer Jim Corrigan in the police series T.J. Hooker, and in the 1990s, he played Vic Fontaine in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. James Darren is now 87 years old and has been married twice with 3 children. Joanne Woodward made her career breakthrough in the 1950s and earned respect playing characters with nuance and depth. She had roles in the movies Count 3 and Prey, The Three Faces of Eve, The Long Hot Summer, From the Terrace, and many more. During the 1980s, she starred in the movies Harry and Son, The Glass Menagerie, and Mr. and Mrs. Bridge. She is the widow of actor Paul Newman, with whom she often collaborated with as a co-star, or as an actor in films he directed or produced. In 1960, she became the very first person to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Woodward is now 94 years old, and she retired from acting in 2013, and she lives in Santa Monica, California. Pat Boone's career in entertainment began when he emceed a teenage talent show on radio and television in Nashville, Tennessee. He was the second biggest charting artist of the late 1950s, right behind Elvis Presley. He then began hosting a half-hour variety show called the Pat Boone Chevy Showroom from 1957 to 1960. Following that, he had roles in the movies State Fair, The Yellow Canary, Goodbye Charlie, and The Perils of Pauline. Throughout his career, he has sold more than 45 million records and is considered one of the most popular singers of the 20th century. Pat Boone is now 89 years old and has never been married. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and please consider subscribing and sharing Recollection Road Entertainment with someone you know. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this playlist. As always, thank you so much for watching.